Hello, welcome to the program Sports Preview on Bua Community Voice. It is interesting, and I'll be looking at a manager who was appointed on Tuesday, the 6th of January in the year 2026. Of course, Liam Rosenior. He was confirmed the Chelsea head coach on a contract that will see him stay at the London side till 2032. Rosenior is walking away from Strasbourg to take charge of Stamford Bridge. Enzo Maresca left Chelsea on New Year's Day after breakdown in relations with the club hierarchy. Rosenier's first game in charge was the FA Cup tie up against Charlton. We saw how that went before that game where he was beating the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. And it's just so surprising to even point out the fact that Liam Rosenior will go head-to-head with Mikel Arteta, a player that he played alongside during his days in the Premier League. And this is why it is interesting to look at points like this. So on the program today, we're talking about how much for the former fullback who is 41 years of age, having been born on the 9th of July in 1984. A lot of persons are saying that he doesn't possess the CV or say the criteria to be at the helm at the Stamford Bridge. They feel like if Enzo Maresca should be let go, maybe a manager who've got a high profile, who've won the Champions League, the Premier League, and what have you, should be coming in to coach a team like Chelsea, who are looking to rebuild and stand back and be huge. But getting a contract that will see him stay at the club until 2032 is just so amazing and surprising for a lot of persons. So on this program, on this particular episode, the topic that we'll be looking at is he the right man for the job? What are the way forward? Can he, of course, surprise many? Because if we can even take it back to the days where Arsene Wenger got his job at Arsenal, a lot of persons said he's not a manager who could do it in the Premier League. But we can always look back at Wenger and understand the importance of the change that he brought to the beautiful game of the round leather. So all of this and a lot more is what we're talking about on this episode. My name is Oji of the I'm not doing this alone. Sitting by my immediate right is the man, C.I. Zoro. C.I. Zoro, it's good to have you to talk about these with you. And of course, I have Podolski. Podolski is good to have you back. And Chiwendo is the lady in the house. It's important to give you just a background of the man, Liam James Rosenior. I told you already that he was born on the 9th of July in 1984. An Englishman, and I know how much the English FA and the English community have wanted a manager of English descent to win the Premier League. I feel like it's been a long call looking at it. We don't have managers that are from England dominating the English Premier League, and I feel like this is one of those moments that you feel like, okay, for this man to come in. He had a youth career just in 2001-2002 at Bristol City. Went to play as Bristol City men team with 23 appearances and 2 goals as a fullback. Fulham was actually where he played most of his games with 79 appearances. Got a loan deal at Torquay United where he did 10 appearances. Had a good spell at Reading, 64 appearances there. It was a loan deal, 29 appearances, and Hull City. To do over a century of appearances there was just interesting, to see that is amazing what he did there. 144 appearances and had his time at Brighton with 44 appearances, bringing it to 393 appearances at club level. Couldn't make it to the English national team, of no doubt. Had his time at Derby County as an interim manager. Had a 2-year spell at Hull City from 2022 to 2024. Strasbourg also 2024-2026. And a lot of persons feel like, okay, a good job was done at Strasbourg. And Chelsea have got the owners of Chelsea have got a huge affiliation with Strasbourg, acting more like a feeder team to Chelsea. If you can remember all of the transfers that transpired, in fact, they share a lot in common in ownership and all of that. So it feels like, fine, if this is the building factory for our players, why not get a manager who is building this to come build it here rather than go here to get it? It's like bringing the market to your house and all of that. But this program, I want us to look at his appointment. Is it a good a move in the right direction in your own opinion? How much time do you feel like you've got like to do this? Will they even exercise the patience to try to build? Is it even in a better capacity than what a manager like Enzo Maresca have been able to do at Chelsea? What could be the plan? What are the discussions? Is he coming to win the Premier League in his first season? Must he qualify Chelsea for UEFA Champions League position in this particular season, having to do the half season? These are the what ifs. So we just look at how we can cross those T's and dot the I's on Liam Rosenior and say, okay, fine, this is what he's been appointed to do at Chelsea. Had his player either fullback or wing back, his philosophy, have you been able to see him in that game as Arsenal? Were there positives to pick out from and say, okay, this is a manager that knows what he's offering? So I feel like these are the basics of where we should be touchlighting to say, this is the kind of manager he is. And to just concluding with, is he going to succeed at Chelsea? Yes or no?
I think he will succeed in Chelsea because for a very long time, and I mean, this era that we are, it's the era of young coaches coming in, but it's just quite unfortunate that they don't have that patience. And I think Chelsea, for me, under Todd Bowley, he's that man that is patient. I mean, Enzo Maresca fallout wouldn't have been if not that he stepped on the toes of the owners, which is not supposed to be breach of contract. You're not supposed to do what you did. But for me, I think in Rosenior is he has that ability because I watched him in Strasbourg when this appointment was coming and I said, let me look at his game. He's more of an attacking minded coach and he works with his wing. He plays more of a wing play kind of football. And I'm sure he's going to be introducing it bit by bit to Chelsea. So I believe that he has the potential to succeed. But now the question is with the fans. Because sometimes it's not even with the hierarchies, it's not even with the owners, it is the fans. Will they allow him, will they be patient enough? Because they will have to give him like 2 seasons to stamp his ground and get his players right and get them to play his system of football. So he will take time. Let's say this season is out, his target should be just qualify them for the Champions League, and that's it. Nothing serious, don't win anything because definitely you don't expect that from him. So I think right now, the target should just be win the Champions League, but they should give him this season, probably next season, and then the upper season we'll not be talking about winning titles. That's just the way it is.
The way it is for you, Podolski, this man led Chelsea to a 5-1 away win at Charlton Athletic on the 10th round of the FA Cup. This made him the first manager, most on the line, the first manager to win the opening match in charge of Chelsea.
We're going to use Chelsea
since Antonio Conte.
We're going to use Chelsea as
in 2016. The almighty Jose Mourinho did not win his first game.
I mean, did you see Mourinho play against Chelsea? A club from Championship.
Who
your first winning is
before we go with that argument, who knocked out Real Madrid at the Copa the last time I checked? So, and that was Arbeloa's first game in charge.
Yes.
And we know how it went. So, first game in charge could be very lively. It
matters a lot.
could come with a lot of pressure because, trust me,
High expectations.
the first day on the job is always the most. You can remember the first day you went live on TV or radio anywhere. It's just going to come with a lot of demand. So let's get your opinion about Rosenior.
Rome was not built in a day. This is a gradual process. When I look at his status of play, he's a meticulous manager that will look at the players and will try to bring out the best. I look at what he did at Brighton, the lab. You saw what he did. So I believe that Chelsea should give him more time. Salzburg, he took them to 7th position, qualifying them for UEFA Conference League. Look at what he did at Hull City. He did a great work at Hull City, playing 78 games and winning 27.
Okay.
So I believe that Chelsea should just balance, give him a chance, Don't pressure him. You must win this. You must win the treble. You must win the Champions League. You must
Maybe
win
that's why he got 6.5 years.
Yes.
That's a long time.
Even when he plays in Birmingham County, in 12 games, he won 7. And this is one of the managers that if you look at him, is very good in bringing the younger ones. You go to your academy and develop you, and you go there and chance.
So probably maybe Chelsea don't want trophies. They want to work with
Yes.
they want to build players and sell. You know how
I actually disagree with that. Chelsea at this particular level where Chelsea is really needs more trophy. And I think aside from say disagreements between Enzo, I might not have been an Enzo fan, but his gambles has always worked for him. Now bringing Liam into the picture now, I feel Liam has a lot to deal with. It's crazy to deal with the intensity of Chelsea fan base alone. So you cannot come into Chelsea. Chelsea does not have the kind of patience Arsenal has, wanting to wait for you to come second at every particular season.
But if that's Chelsea, why did they appoint average managers?
That you still ask the reasons why they appointed an average striker to start with, because Chelsea believes that you could start from the bottom and get to that place, but then inside the bottom you'll be under immense pressure to be able to get to that place. That way you get to brighten up. When Enzo came in, Enzo wasn't the best of whatever it is we all.
That's what I'm saying, and that's why
Enzo was seriously under pressure.
If you look at the market now, even Real Madrid that just sacked Alonso, if you look at the market, who will you want?
That is the problem.
It's now fading. These experienced coaches who won it
most
all,
of them are gone into retirement.
they are now fading off. Age is no longer on their side. If you check Pep, you could see that age is actually telling on him. He's no longer that young manager that was in Barcelona, that was everywhere. If you follow Pep, you could see the way he used to demonstrate.
He wants the list of managers who are available.
No, I'm talking about
There's a certain Zinedine Zidane.
Zinedine. What?
Yes.
Are you going to rate Zinedine?
You've got no job. Man won back-to-back UEFA Champions League for 3 seasons. No, I'm talking about he's available to be appointed.
You will not even
There's
want
a certain Carlo Ancelotti. I'm giving you a list. There's a certain Carlo
Ancelotti is in Brazil.
That's what I'm saying.
You will not want
and the Brazil job is a job which should be ended just after the World Cup. If he wins the World Cup, he might walk away. If he doesn't win the World Cup, he might walk away.
That's what we're talking about age. We're talking about age now. Age is not on Don Carlo anymore. He's no longer that young, vibrant coach that we
used to know. Don Carlo's son.
He's also working with the father.
Exactly. Don Carlo's son, does he have pedigree? Does he have?
Remember, he coached it.
We're talking about
and he did not do
if you are even going to ask me, if you are going to say top managers now, if you are going to rate, I'm going to go for Aston Villa. If not an Aston Villa coach, Unai Emery. That is the only coach you can now say, okay, he's in that standard. Let's go for Santos. Yes, I can go for him.
You can talk about. I think at this particular point, having won as much as he has won, I think you could actually still chipping Enzo into this particular one. Enzo has been able to win about 3 or 2 trophies.
He's the one sacked now.
I'm talking about pedigree.
No, I'm talking about
pedigree coaches.
Yes.
People that have pedigrees. You're talking about Santos, yes. You're talking about Unai Emery, yes.
What's the name of the man? What's the name of the man at? What's the name of the man at?
Even Luis Enrique too. He's also have that pedigree.
Oh yeah, Luis Enrique.
We must also talk about what's his name again? The man at the helm at. Help me out. At Nottingham Forest. These are managers. No, it's David Moyes is one again.
No.
David Moyes.
Moyes cannot deal with
Jose Mourinho. They are fading off. You cannot even say I cannot even recommend Jose Mourinho for any top managerial job. Not because
right now.
He's fed off. His time is off. What I want to talk about is Pep. If you see Pep when he's on the touchline, the way he behaves. If you see him when he was in Barcelona, you could see he's even playing the ball with them. The way he screamed, the way he does. But look at him now.
He won it all. It's not.
But he's even going through a lot of mental stress.
You cannot take away
mental stress.
You cannot take away away age from it. As much as we want to say experience matters,
Then
experience
Jurgen, we
counts.
must remember Jurgen Klopp.
Jurgen Klopp too, age is also affecting him too. That's why he said, I want to go for on a long-term sabbatical leave.
Managers
And
in 76. How long?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they cannot do it. But I'm saying that this is a young crop of players. If Alonso will be fighting it, will be having this talk and head with players in his team.
Because he's young.
That is the thing.
Old managers.
That's the thing.
Because he's
But
young.
this is the era where you need young managers. You can't rely on. Are we going to say we continue to stay under the era of Pep Guardiola, under the era of Mourinho? Are we not going to take young
Until the man and the lights get old. Until
So we'll be waiting for them to get what will they be given an opportunity to prove that
well,
they are also
you have a point.
Pep was
Because
given
I
an
remember
opportunity.
even Mourinho when he came from Porto to Chelsea, he was pretty young.
Yes, he was given the opportunity to also show their talents.
I want to also chip in that Rosenior is the son of a former coach. His father is Leroy Rosenior.
And you know that he was also mentored by Wayne Rooney. He was also his mentor.
Yes.
And so it's quite unfortunate.
It's not unfortunate.
Wayne Rooney did not.
You can do well more than your
He
master.
didn't do
No,
well as
no,
a
no.
head coach.
Some people are good players, but they are not good coaches.
Mm.
Even if you want to say he's not going to do well, he had 11 cap with England under 20 and under 21. He only scored 1 goal. Some people are good as manager, but they're not good as
I mean, you
players.
are right. Mourinho was
So
not
you should-
good as a player, but he was good as a manager.
So you should not just judge him.
Yes, I have to bring him in.
So
And I got information that when he was still a toddler, that he would pretend he was sleeping on the couch so that he would listen to tactics discussion from his father. So I feel like he's someone that got a coaching background.
Yes.
And if you look at that coaching background, it's something that is lacking in football these days. With the advent of social media, I feel like players need someone who understands a little of the old, a little of the young time. The head right treatment can't work anymore. That's why managers like Pep would understand that when in an era where you need 50 players in one team, and they don't mind, you can just keep protecting them and play. We can't have a first 11 play 38 games, 38 in a season. Not anymore. There are too many games to play. The injuries are recurrent. The kind of lifestyle that footballers live now is different from
Yeah,
before.
even 38.
So you no, I'm talking about like we knew
Premier League,
we knew when we knew when the
Premier
likes of John Terry played like the whole game
Yeah.
of the season in certain seasons. Sometimes they do it
Lampard.
I think Klopp equally did it with them. Mo Salah at
You
some
know.
point. Yes,
So
last two
But
places.
it's not good for the player.
Yes.
maybe he's gone out those days, and I feel like with all of that, so I feel like we all agree on one thing, that he will need time before we can criticize him per se. But tactically at the moment, is he a man for the job?
For somebody that had a comeback, against Arsenal and then the way Arsenal played.
And almost come back, but
I-
Almost come back. That
They have
was
given an extra time.
yes, if there was one
I
shot, we would have
think
done that.
it shows something about his tactics. I think he's more of an attacking minded person. You understand? So that would have been a situation whereby Enzo would get confused if he was to be Enzo. But then this person has this resilience, wants to push and then see how it goes. So we just pray it doesn't. It's not just
One of
yes, a Merenidu got put in as kind of situation. Right?
Okay, now let's look at it from Honor's perspective. The man that won the Football League trophy in 2002-2003 season and an FA Cup runners-up in 2013-2014. That's all. That's all. Coming to be a manager in a club that is trophy like, I mean,
World
club that
champions.
have won the Champions League twice. How many times in the Premier League? I think 5 times. A club that
Club
got
also.
an FA Cup, a Club World Cup, a Conference League, a UEFA Europa League. In fact, the only club to have won all European competitions. If you look at the trophy cabinet at Chelsea, you will be terrified. You will obviously be terrified as a manager.
You like to
Now,
run us.
you want to have him play in all of these competitions. In fact, he inherited a team that is still playing in all of the competitions. Now, a manager that's still available in all of the competitions, in fact, somewhere around the top 4, which should be the target for the season, was let go. And you're getting a manager,
Who has little or no experience about
and he's coming to play in his first Champions League, probably in the knockout phase where Chelsea might be finishing. Trying to play in those one of those knockout places. He's going to be involved in the FA Cup. In fact, he got a second leg to play at the Emirates against Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Now, you understand that it's like bringing a fish that stays in neutral water to a salt water. The fish will struggle. That's what I feel. And I feel like this appointment should come before the start of the season. Yes, where you can go for your pre-season tour, talk about the kind of players that you would want to play, the style that you want to execute, and all this and that. I felt like if Amorim had come to Chelsea at the right time, things would have been different. I feel like if Amorim was made a manager, not a coach, things would have been different. I feel these are things that need to be understood. Remember that a certain Sir Alex Ferguson is the most successful coach in the world, called the shot in all departments at Old Trafford. From the dietitian to the medical staff to the physio, all of the training. Like, you know how it is for Pep and the likes. They move around with their team. In fact, they want to be involved in everywhere. And that's why coaches of today feel like players have got a lot of power. And with the power that these players have got, it's going to be difficult for coaches. It's not ending today. Do you know my happiness? Most players are going to become coaches.
Yes.
You understand?
I'm going to feel it.
Cole Palmer, Reece James, they might become managers someday. And that's why I don't blame people like the likes of Lionel Messi that are saying that they are not going to become managers. They want to own a team like David Beckham have done now. I feel like there need to be rules. And I, for one, still feel like the rule about not being able to appoint a coach until it is the transfer window should abide. I don't know.
Exactly.
I think that should be a topic for another time. You should not let, if you let your coach go, you should not be able to appoint another. It should be someone from his coaching group until the transfer window opens.
To make money clubs to sit up.
Do you understand? So you don't get 6 years contract. You've got it now. Trust me, he might be let go before the end of the season.
Continue to pay him.
And then somebody was talking about
when they are getting 6 years contract, you think they'll pay? You think they'll pay? You think the salary is big? You think they don't know what they're doing? That's why transfer fees are beginning to drop. I see players in 7 million euros. The inflation hit so high that we are now down. That's why people are not paying so much. That's why to pay the African Football of the Year at the time is saying £150,000 a week. You see, they start cutting down. And now we've agreed that they brought in from Strasbourg to get a coach who should be helping out build players from the academy. How much salary do you think they're going to earn? What happens to the big boys?
Most of the players, one of the things we have to look now, most of the players are earning more than you. And imagine that I'm earning more than you. If you talk to me, I will decide to listen to you or not to listen to you.
Well, that could be a factor, but I feel like you could get sold.
But I think what managers, owners of clubs are beginning to do, like the aspect of Real Madrid as a case study, to give players so much power that they can come to you and say, hey, this manager this manager that. You don't allow your managers to install that discipline. Because as a manager, if the owners give you 100% and say you are in charge of this team, whoever, that's one of the reasons why Mourinho will sit a Pogba on the bench to tell him, I am the manager here. You are not my manager. The only thing the owners will do is say, okay, we don't like what you do, we don't like your approach, so let me go. And I think that's one of the things that affected Alonso, because it was not looking like the players have more authority than me. I cannot tell you what to do, and then there are some players that I can talk to, there are some players that I cannot talk to, and you think those players that I can talk to will not result one day.
You know why? Respect is not forced. It's earned. If you bring results.
I mean, Alonso wasn't doing that.
He was. Let me tell you. Bringing results is about winning games. Put tactics that work. Make the right song. That's where players respect coaches from. Tell them, I'm going to beat this team 3-0 and you beat them 3-0. Tell them they won't score and they won't score. Just do this. Play like this. Like your tactics is what makes you the boss.
I mean,
that's what at Chelsea, Mourinho was a demigod. They lose at home for 4 years. Like for 4 years. They want to beat us at Stamford Bridge. Played a full season of 38 games and conceded just 15 goals. A record that have stayed in the Premier League till date. Like, So you don't become a boss by the backing of Abramovich. It's about what you're able to do.
I
Tell them, get the players who will bench the players. Like, be able to go into players' DM and tell say, John Terry, this is, I need you. And he's coming the next morning because he knows what you're going to offer. I feel like this is where the problem lies. The coaches don't get that result that will give them the pedigree that they desire. Now, imagine a Bayer Leverkusen, the demigod that he was becoming. He could call shots in that dressing room. But in this dressing room, he's yet to prove to be a person who will call shots. He went a full season without losing a game until the final of a full season in all competition.
Because
and you can call.
Are you saying that it will not take time? Are you saying that it will immediately come in?
Exactly. Now,
but these are the
Some
people.
persons
Like
have
now, we're not talking about
slots.
yeah, the big boys will struggle now.
I mean,
The big boys will now struggle.
look at when
Listen to you when you go 3 games without getting a win.
now look at for instance, there's some character that Alonso will not definitely want to talk about. But there's some things that he, like George Bellingham, like Vinicius Junior, there are some things that Don Carlo allow them to do. They go out, they can go to club and come back. And then somebody like Alonso is saying, no, I will not take that. That's one of the things Amorim was doing. Rashford, go and do what, and eventually you come back and give me my results. It's none of my business. But the Amorim will not take that. Alonso will not do that because personally, their personal life as a player, they will discipline. They don't come into this club and say, no, I will not take my eyes off, even though you're coming to the club to give me the result. But I will not take my eyes off. For me, I think at this point, Alonso naturally is a disciplined man. In his playing days, how many times do you hear any controversy about it? Then he comes in, this is a Gen Z age, either we like it or not. And then he wants to come and bring in his personal personal life, his personal discipline. It's not something he can turn away from. And it's affecting Vinicius Junior because if you don't allow him to live that kind of life, he will not perform. And Don Carlo understood. And that is why he will go to Brazil. And he will perform. Look at the Rodrigo we're talking about. He will say, so,
in all of the discipline of Mourinho, Hazard did not tell everybody.
No, I'm talking about everybody have different ways.
No,
Maybe Mourinho overlooked it.
No, that's what I'm saying. There are always exceptions.
That is what Alonso is not trying. He's trying to say, no, there's not going to be an exception for me.
And that's why
I think it affected him. Same thing, even
and it's not the problem of the hierarchy. It's you to figure like you don't Hazard won't strength. Week in, week out. And you put him in the game, he scores. Now, Hazard made the manager say, this trend is not my thing. And we saw it at Real. Yes. He was forced to train. And that was the end of Hazard. It's never going to work. He doesn't lace his boot. Listen to Mikel talk about it. Put his hand in his pants, walk around, and before you know it, he's done. Or put him in the game. And if any player is complaining that he didn't train, come and play. You can't play more than he's playing on a Saturday, on a Sunday. And they win games, and he wins the man of the match. Even without training, why force him to train?
So that's the thing.
Managers should understand the players that you have. That's why when a certain manager was appointed, I think it was at Chelsea, the first thing that he did is say, bring all the names of your spouses, your girlfriends, your children, your dogs. So he's talking to you just when I said, just imagine you're chasing after calls your dog. And you feel at home. Like, oh, he knows you. Like, it's not every time that the whole Boston works out. Lampard tried at Chelsea with all of his fine, when you come late, when this, oh, you're going to pick money until you're done. But it's all about, it's still I feel like results is what makes. Think about how to render that result first. And all of your authority, all of your respect is going to stand when they know that the results will come. Bench your best player and still get results. You know,
it happened under Jose Mourinho. It happened. He benched for Pogba and he was getting results.
And he was sacked because of Pogba. Yes, it happened.
It happened.
I can remember who was sacked at Chelsea for benching Fernando Torres. I think it was Roberto Di Matteo after winning the Champions League. Because they signed Fernando Torres for Abramovich's son as a birthday gift. And his birthday gift was not playing. And the man was like, put him on.
But he was not performing at Chelsea.
But you don't score. So these are things that's why the medical team said Reece James is injured. We have Cole Palmer injured. Don't play them more than 15 minutes in the game, and we see them starting the match and playing even as much as 60-70 minutes. Enzo Maresca. You're getting sacked the next day. The doctors are, and then all of a sudden they're injured again. I remember the players are the ones with the doctor that will tell you that they are injured. And you're saying, no, he's fit to play as the coach. Are you in my body? Are you me? Are you me?
No, you can't.
You understand?
You
So
can never.
these are the issues why you go to a press conference and say, oh, some people don't want me to succeed because we are telling you the truth. Even in diet, when players pack food and you know that this food is not good, or you see them eating what they should not eat, you don't go to the play. Pep said it even before the Christmas break. Said if you come back 1 kg extra you left here, you're not playing. But trust me, people will come back and they don't want to play. Give them on the bench, they are good. A certain Raheem Sterling is one of the highest earners at Chelsea. He's still at Chelsea.
He's still not kicking ball.
It's your business. You're going to pay me at the end of the month. Me terminate that contract. No, I'm not. So these are issues that I feel like hierarchy, coaches, players, they need to have an understanding. These players, Xavi Alonso's time, they can't play the number of games they're playing now. And that's why tactics are changing. You must pass the ball around. The keeper must help to pass up. If not, the players will run and run and run.
The
And
keeper self can even provide assist.
so you must change how you're playing with the. Let me say it on camera. One day in football, they will change like basketball. You can leave and come back to play because we have games played every day. That's what we're hearing for. We want to see those matches. We don't want Chelsea to play on Wednesday and wait till Saturday. They should play games every day. Create more leagues. That's why we're going to get an African Nations League where there'll be more games, and that's why more records will be broken because there'll be more games. I can tell you, Osimhen is playing more games than Rashid Yekini ever did.
Yes.
So these are issues that will improve the game. That's why we are thinking about people breaking Ronaldo's record. They will break it. The time for the game might be extended from 90 minutes to even more. To make it even more fun for us watching, to get more ads and all of that. But I think we've come to an agreement that he might succeed if he gets time since he's young. Sia is believing that there was no need for Enzo leaving in the first place. Maybe he doesn't have the pedigree, but
but his luck actually worked for him. I would use luck because he gambled a lot, but then one way or the other he figured it out. He loses two and then wins three on most occasions. Sometimes he loses 2 or 3 and then wins the remaining with 1 draw. To me, it's not fantastic, but it's not bad because at the end of the day, he gambles into the first 4, the first 5. I mean, it's just rocket science.
But we never can tell. Rosenior could become.
We just hope, but we just hope. But then remember, Enzo was thought by a certain Pep Guardiola. He was so his tactics is actually different. Now this guy is more like having a Frank Lampard in the team again. We all respect the fact that Frank Lampard was an extraordinary player, but he didn't reflect it as a coach.
But
you understand?
His present position with the club is doing well.
He's doing well. Where's the club? That's the
And
issue.
the championship.
Where's the club?
Enzo Maresca came to Chelsea because he won the championship.
And then now let's look at it. I feel like this guy is going to be in a very hot seat. The issue is, can he be able to? You made mention of a lot of trophies Chelsea have. Chelsea has to maintain it. Chelsea cannot crash down at the elimination stage of the Champions League without this guy having people to banter him. He has to win at least 2 to 3 matches of that Champions League before crashing out. And then if he comes in and his first match crashes him out, he's in a very big mess.
Yeah, that could get him a sack.
You understand? It's a very big mess. And Enzo can mess up in the Premier League and come to the Champions League and is always very serious in most of these competitions. He has a way to perform his. Last year I had problems with Enzo. I always complained about his gambling. But then one way or the other, he made
I get the results.
He made Reece James play a position we didn't know him with, and then he played well.
And he played against PSG, the world European champion, and won them in the World Club.
So when you say this is the people, when you say this is the people, he cannot do it. He did it with Barcelona. He did it with PSG.
But I feel like that's why he had that meeting with City. And the moment he agreed with City or Juventus, and he knew he got a job for himself, he cared little about Chelsea. Maybe. Well, this is the point of saying goodbye. We'd have loved to talk on and on. All you need to do is to drop your comments via the comment section. Don't forget that the program is sponsored by our friends at MaxBet. www.maxbet.ng is where you have to go to get things started. Thank you very much, CI Zoro.
Thank you
So much, Todoski, and to each one. You've been an amazing time hanging out with you. Thank you. When they say what's behind the camera, I will say adios. Have a very, very nice day. And make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow.